Okay, I'm back again with another Redcat video. This time is featuring this, the rear body mount post. Another one of glorious Redcat's weaknesses with the Kaiju. So right now I'm gonna make this thing. I already made one of them, just to see how it mocks up, see how it bolts to the thing. Yeah, and this is the original mount. So those out of there, and these body posts are also a Redcat part. Yeah, and they're dirt cheap on Redcat's site too. So let's get this out of there. Here you can see how it looks. Now for this, I'm not going to use the lovely super weak grinder. What I'm going to use is my trusty punch. It works. 1/8 inch drill bit and 5/16 drill bit, along with some pliers to unbend stuff, file to grind out some edges, and some nice long angle cutters to give me some leverage against this stuff. So, okay, and a marker, obviously. So what I do first is I get my long L bar. It's like a 3 foot long. Well, actually it's not 3 feet long anymore since I haven't cut this off of it already. Yeah, so it was 3 feet. So what I use to mock it up, since I actually have to use this anyway, is I just mock it. Let's see which way it goes. This way. Just like this, about maybe a 1/4 of an inch from the side, maybe a little bit less. And yeah, keep it just like that. Just like that. For the length of this. Probably should like grip it together so it doesn't move. It's plastic, so it will tear up, so I don't go wild on it. And I will actually want to cut this first, just to make it a little bit more and it's kind of hard to get it going, so eyeball the same length from the end on this side with the cutters. Put some force down into it, and it cuts. Yeah, lovely aluminum versus steel. If these are sharp enough, it'll go through it each time. And as you can see, when I cut it, it bent. So that's what I'm going to use the pliers for, because I'm going to have to cut into this to get these angles right, so I can easily get a lovely body clip through the post. So there, this one is going to be a little bit tougher, so I'm not going to go all the way at first. Just maybe go about halfway, give it a cut, and then just start nipping at it. Until it starts to cut and comes around. Yeah, these things are very nifty. Got them from Menards. About time I get some more, too. They're starting to get a little bit dull, but even if they are dull, they'll still go through this thing like butter. So okay, now it's time for a little bit of noise. Just round some of these edges off so I don't start cutting myself on the stuff. There we do the same thing to the other side since it is sharp as heck. Since I do tend to poke myself with these things while I'm working on them. So, yeah, that's a little bit of trial and error. Of course, just going to round off everything. Now, since this is lightweight aluminum, it'll grind off pretty easy. Yeah. Okay, now we got it like this. It's all ready to be mocked up. You don't even have to go with a mark if you don't want to. Take your press, the punch. Shit works. And just punch. Punching out all the holes. When you get to this, you try to want to eyeball the center. Just get it down up in there. Just see what I'm doing. If I can see. Yeah, there you go. You want to eyeball the center of that. Try to keep it stable. Right, there we go. The same that other side. Okay. Now everything is ready. And we have to go and get our drill. Yeah, so let me go do that since I obviously forgot it. Okay, drill acquired. Now, as for order of operation, it actually might be easier to get rid of these ends to make this shape. The shape right here. This little lovely angled L before you drill the holes. Because the L does get pretty close to the holes, and worst come to worst, it might actually bend right at the L when you're trying to cut this. Because I'm still going to use this instead of going at that grinder, since it takes a heck of a lot less time to do it with this than the grinder. So I'll make my marks where I need the L to start. Make a little mark there. And then make a mark right where the body clip is going to come to go. And do that to the other side. And we can unclip it. Now we're gonna have to do a little bit of eyeballing here. So I'll finish this square. Line it up with the two lines that I made. And then make the angle from the square. Okay, if I can actually get it in the shot, I'll do it on this side. Okay, finish the square. And connect the line. Okay. Now, all this needs to come off. So, it's easier to start right on the edge. Let me get this in the shot. And since it's an L, it's not a flush cutter, you're gonna have to eyeball where the line starts on the inside. It's like right in the middle of of the nip, so it's not all the way on the end. So you edge it up wherever the line starts and just go to town. Not cutting all the way through it first, just making your cut, because it's really not that possible to cut all the way through it first. And then while you got the nick marks, go to the other side, do the same thing, eyeball it, start at the end, cut off. And start doing the same to this middle line here. What you don't want to do is go edit all the way, because it'll be bending up. I mean, it's bending up already. Very, very slightly it's bending up. You don't want to bend up too much, because then it'd be kind of hard to get it back flat. You pound it and that weakens the aluminum anyway. So, yep. Slowly. In, and at some point it's definitely going to start cutting through. So and this is also why I don't want to use the grinder, because weak aluminum like this, it'll just tear it up. I mean, if it was thicker, then yeah, but you really don't want it too thick, because it still has to sit up against the body post. So that can get your posts out of line from the body, and it'll start eating the body up. Even if this post is thinner, it'll still be pushed up if this is too thick. So now that's gone, and you can easily just cut away the rest of this, or even bend it. It doesn't really matter, it'll go away, just like that. And now this is pretty sharp, so go ahead and grind. That's good. Now I'm just gonna go on and do the other side. I'm gonna just show how careful you have to be with the first side. So yeah. And you don't have to go at this at any kind of speed. I mean, it'll get done. It'll cut. They go straight through like it's supposed to. Yeah, doing it this way gives you a heck of a lot more control over what you're cutting than trying to go at it with a grinder. Man, because the aluminum is on the thin side, so you really want to have some control over that cut. Okay. that all done, now it's time to make our 2 bottom holes. So for this, I want to use this big plank of wood so I don't be cutting into my table too much, even though the table's some old junk that I got sitting out here. I still don't want it to be destroyed by me too soon. Okay, and since this is crappy aluminum, should have hose grip. Go on and get the 1/8" drill bit and get to drilling, and it will go through it really fast. And break. That's why I love cheap bits. Now I have to go get another bit. Okay, bit acquired. Now let's go and finish this. Okay, you can even take your large bit and grind out and circle out the holes just a little bit. Get rid of any edgings. What fouling and all that good stuff. And you can do the same to the other side too. Now for the other side, get rid of this mess. And clamp it in, and I'm going to use the 1/8" drill bit as a pilot. And go at it with the 5/16. Yep. Okay. Now we're good on that. Now let's see how we bent the edges. This one is a little bent. Yeah, they're both kind of bent. So take slightly bend it back. Just a little. till it's nice and straight. Yep. Okay, now we can take our lovely mount, line it up, see if everything is all good, and it is. Yay. Throw in our lovely purple gear. It looks like it's just a little out of tune on this side, so just round it out a little bit more. If I don't have a larger drill bit out here, I can foul around the edges just a little bit. Hit the foul. When I'm doing this kind of stuff, I'm always getting ahead of myself, just like everybody else. Missing steps, going around. Oh, body clips. Well, body clips. Yeah, I tend to not mess around with body clips that much. Just because sometimes they can be an absolute pain in the butt. Especially when you're dealing with them with a mod. Oh, wait, no, I didn't take the balance off of that one either. Okay, now we're lined up and it goes straight in. If it wants to go straight in. Body gloves. And yeah. It's all lined up. And we can bolt it back to the car. Now, when I bolt it back to the car, there are the pins, the screws for the shocks running through one end of the shock tower. Now, it's running through one end of the tower. And it's actually lined up with exactly to where one of the holes is going through, which is the outer hole. Yeah, freaking annoying, isn't it? So now what you want to do is notice that hole. Now I use larger screws for literally everything, but I use the larger screws for the inner holes and the shorter screws for the outer holes. And that way, if I can find a shorter screw, and there's somewhere there. And that way it won't try to push out these screws for the shock towers, which it will do. So, boy. Okay, let's get rid of some of the stuff. Okay, inner hole. We'll go in and bring the driver into the mix just to get it started. Get it all nice and lined up. Now you can be done there, or you can go on and throw the other two small screws in the outer hole. It really doesn't matter. Okay, and done. And we got bulletproof body mount for the rear for a lovely Redcat Kaiju. Oh boy. Yeah, this truck is definitely something special. But it works. And that would be the first upgrade I made for it. The second, yeah, it's gonna take a while because it involves making this. Yeah, it involves a lot of cutting, a lot of dealing with angles and stuff to get it, to keep it straight. So I will end this video and go on to the next.